So, University of Calgary, describe analytics and how it applies to your department there.
Wow. Two levels. The one is at the broader research level in the university. There's analytics and big data analytics that's happening in pretty much every single faculty and department on the research side. If I look at it from the administrative side, there's a lot of work that's being done to help us understand how to run the university more efficiently. So are we, you're dealing with 30,000 students, you're dealing with 2,000 profs. How are we collecting the data to look at analyzing resources like rooms most effectively? What are we doing in terms of optimizing the learning experience for students? So folks come in your first year, how can we pick up if you're in trouble within that first month to 2 months and actually start intervening so that we can get a young student who's maybe not coping back on course effectively. All of the data is sitting there. It's a case at this point of how do we link those pieces of data together correctly to actually start being able to drive some of those interventions.
Interesting. It sounds like that would be useful in a high school as well.
Yeah, I think it's a province-wide solution that could be looked at in that. We're not there yet. It's something that I think we can do at an individual university level, but also looking at the changes and the push for collaboration across Alberta, the Alberta PSE sector. It's something we could be looking at through all of the colleges and universities in the province. How can we look at it at a demographic level, at an individual student level, and at an institutional level?
It's a good use for it.
So yeah,
it's good use for the tools.
Inspired by what we heard this morning. How do we do these things more effectively?
So do you have developed your own software, or you use?
We use commercial tool sets at the moment, so we're fairly heavy users of both Cognos, and then on the visualization side, a tool called Tableau.
Okay.
And one of the things that's really struck me in the last year is how to move that data out of rows and columns and move it into visualizations.
Right.
Just really accelerates the decision making.
Right.
So we've built a practice around that within the university, and it's driving demand at the moment in ways that people are coming to us with problems, as opposed to if you go back 2 or 3 years ago, it was, I don't really know what I need, just build me a cube. Now it's, I have a problem, help me solve the problem using analytics.
And like I said,
it's a big change.
And the visualization, like I say, seems to be kind of the key to unlock. A lot of the answers coming from the data, right? And then you're almost getting into this kind of gaming scenario where the more creative you can be on the visualization side, the more the more value you can get from the data. It's an interesting.
You see things so much faster. I think we tied into those of us that are data geeks, live in the numbers. A lot of folks don't live there. They want to be able to see that one outlier out there quickly, as opposed to finding it in a sea of numbers. And it really does drive a change.
So are you seeing any predictive analytics coming into your world?
We're starting to look at it, but I think it's very, very early days still on the administrative side. I think there's a lot more of that stuff that's happening in the research area. But it's where the big changes are going to come.
Absolutely,
The challenge is getting all the data in the right place to be able to do the predictive piece of it. So.
So what we've been finding is the systems behind gathering the data and parceling that data and organizing it as well. That is also, I'd say, still in the early days of that system working correctly. It
is, and I think, everybody's talking about big data and analytics. The piece people don't talk about a lot, and it's where the hard stuff is happening, in my opinion, is around the data management piece of all of this. Because you're dealing with it in 3, 4, 5, 6 different systems, different formats. How do you curate that, organize it, and make it actually accessible for the analytics piece to happen? And that's a big challenge.
And it's dangerous not to fall into the trap of just trying to stuff it all into one spreadsheet, eh?
Well, yeah, as we saw this morning, and as I can attest in a previous job, it is actually possible to blow up Excel if you try and do too much with it.
I've seen some good ones.
It is imminently, even with the current versions of it, you can destroy it.
So on your panel today, what are you going to be talking about?
I'm looking at what are we seeing in cloud in the university, but not from an administrative perspective. The piece that intrigues me is a university is kind of a petri dish for early stage innovation, or people using tools and technologies in a way that really isn't anticipated. So what are the students doing with the cloud that we as university administrators are maybe not seeing or not anticipating.
So you're saying you're learning from the students, eh?
I think you have to. So it's really, really fascinating.
Wonderful. Well, thank
Excellent.
you, Vaughn. Thank you very much.
Join the conversation next year as more cities become data-driven. Become a community partner. Contact us at info@abctech.ca.